Well, this golf tournament started several years ago, right after my 1978 race for Secretary of State. The group that came together for that was sort of a groundbreaking thing. We decided to sort of stay together and just kind of find things to work on. And one of the things that we started to work on was the Urban League. The Columbia Urban League had a guild. And so we decided to get together and to do things for that guild. And that's, we trying to raise money one year. We said, well, let's have a golf tournament. We all love to golf, and we went down to St. T, South Carolina, had this golf tournament that we thought would raise a lot of money. I think we had 18 golfers to show up, and I had to write a $500 check to pay the bill. But that started it. We decided to rename this tournament, which had been called the Pick Classic, named after Palmetto Issues Conference is what we called our little organization. So the tournament was called the Pick Classic. Then we renamed it the Rudolph Canzeda Memorial Classic in honor of him. So this is going to be the 29th Rudolph Canzeda Memorial Classic. We decided one year that we would start raising scholarship funds for young people. We decided that they shouldn't just concentrate on one or two students themselves. We've established endowments at several colleges and universities. We've put more than $2 million from this tournament into those endowments. We've given direct student aid in cash, laptops, and of course software packages worth over $5 million to some 1,700 students over the years.
Rudolph Canzeda Scholarship helped me with my finances in getting into school, and it also helped me technology-wise with the help of Microsoft and Dell. They gave me a laptop, so that helped me with like my schoolwork.
The scholarship actually helped me fund tuition fees at the University of South Carolina. I was also blessed with the opportunity to receive a Dell laptop, and in addition, I also received Microsoft Office software, which helped a lot with my classes and submitting assignments and things of that sort.
There are several other components to the weekend. One is a health fair. There are a lot of people along I-95 corridor. St. T is bisected by Interstate 95. The poverty rates along that corridor are very high. Health outcomes are not very good. So we do a health fair every year, and a lot of people come to this health fair for their annual checkup. This health fair is a very integral part of what we do. We also have Harvest Food Bank assists with a food giveaway. We emphasize nutrition and get people to look at vegetables as becoming a part of their everyday diet. And then we have this back to school bash. We open up the weekend with that. These are local school kids, elementary, secondary schools. We give backpacks, we give other kind of school supplies to them. And a sidebar to that is we have several barber shops in the area. They give every one of these students a free back to school haircut. And it's a lot of fun. And the kids get a lot out of it. And we, last year we gave away, I think about maybe a half dozen bicycles for a drawing. And this is a lot of fun as well. But a very significant part of this weekend is the Emily E. Clyburn luncheon. It's amazing. There are several hundred people who are not golfers. They come, and I call it the 3 B's luncheon. It is bid whist. It's a card game known that's pretty prevalent on HBCU campuses. Bridge, and bingo. The income that comes from that, which is voluntary, in instance, we do have some sponsors, that's dedicated to this endowment. Emily, my wife of soon to be 58 years, and I met on the campus of South Carolina State. And some of the resources from the tournament in the early years were deposited down at South Carolina State. One of my big focuses in the Congress, it's been my focus pretty much all of my life, is on underserved communities. And no community is as underserved, in my opinion, as rural communities, especially in the South. Many of these communities were left out of the big recovery that came from the Depression after the 1929 collapse of the stock market. And they've never really come back. And so I focus on rural communities. And that's why we have this at Santee. I'm going to keep it in rural South Carolina because several years ago, the South Carolina Department of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism gave us their annual Bundy Award. That award is given to the entity that has the greatest impact on rural South Carolina. And so I'm going to keep faith with those people who give us that award. And for as long as I'm connected to it, it will be in Santee, South Carolina.